Alright, so now we're going to program the Gorilla Robot. The Gorilla Robot's another remote-controlled robot. This one's designed to kind of like look like a gorilla and move around. So, just kind of going through, we're first going to need to read the remote. Then we'll do our basic moving around commands, forward, left, right, all that. And then we'll also be able to have it speed up and slow down, like what we did with the trailer robot. So let's go ahead and get started. So just like normal, we need to start by including the Smart Inventor library. And since we're going to be using the remote and the DC motor, we need to have two commands up at the top, the TV remote con use and DC motor use. So that way it gets it all set up for us. Then we need to go ahead and read the remote. So that is smartinventor.tv remote con data. And we're going to save that into a variable we'll call key data. Then we'll go through a whole if to check to see if see which buttons are being pressed. So we'll check to see if it equals, and then key U for up, then we'll do key L for left, key R for right, so on and so forth. Hopefully you guys have worked with the remote control stuff before, so you'll kind of know how to do this. So we'll go ahead and go through and put it in the code for that. So for up, we're going to want to go forward, L, we're going to go left, R, right, D, we're going to go backwards. And then if none of those are being pressed, we're going to need to have the robot stop. So that way it actually stops moving and doesn't keep moving. So yeah, hopefully you guys all understand how to do this. Now what we're going to do is, we have this variable speed here that we haven't programmed in. So let's go ahead and get that one programmed in. We first need to create it up at the top of the program. So we're going to have a int speed, and we're going to start out at 50. Then what we're going to do is we're going to do a program to speed it up and slow down, so that way you can control how fast your Gorilla Robot is moving. So for that, we're going to use the F1 key and the F2 key. Those are the top two, be the top left and the top right ones on your remote. So we'll use those so that way we can control the speed. So we'll use the top left one to speed it up, and the top right one to slow it down. So we've done this before, but I'll just kind of go over things as we go through. What we're going to do is, what we first need to do is make sure that we don't speed it up beyond what our maximum speed is. So for this program, our maximum speed is going to be 90. So as long as we're less than that, we can go ahead and speed it up. Then we're going to set speed equal to speed plus 20. So this will increase it by 20. Then we have this LED code here that we'll get to in just a moment. And then we'll go through, we'll play a sound, and then we'll have it wait a little bit so that way it doesn't instantly just keep going up, because this goes through pretty fast, and so otherwise it would just like instantly go up to the highest speed because you wouldn't be able to let go of the remote fast enough. So this way you can kind of control it a little bit more. So getting back to the LEDs here, what we need to do is we need to get all this set up. But first we're just going to go ahead and finish the rest of the speeding up and slowing down code. And then we'll go back through and I'll explain the LEDs, how they work. So for the LEDs, we first need to tell the program that we're going to be using them. So up in the setup, we need to tell that pins 11 through 18 are all going to be outputs. This way we can use them for the LEDs. So what we're going to do is, if you imagine these right here are the pin numbers and the LEDs that go with them. So we're going to start out by turning on the middle four, because we're starting out at medium speed basically. So if you imagine 13 through 16 are all turned on right here. What we're going to do is, when you speed up, we're going to light up 12 through 17, you do it again, 11 through 18, and if you slow down, then we move in one. So the code for that, when we start out like this, we speed up, is we need to be able to know which ones we currently have lit up. So we're going to create two variables that'll keep track of that. It's going to be our speed meter. So speed meter L will keep track of the left LED, and speed meter R will keep track of the right LED. So now we're keeping track of these. So what we need to do is, since they're pointing to 13 and 16, if we speed up, we need to go out one on each of them. So we're looking at 12 and 17, and then we need to turn those on. So if we look down in our code and speed up, that's exactly what we do. Our left one, we subtract one, which, since it's counting down as we go to the left, that'll move it out one. On our right one, it moves up one, so that we move out. and then we turn on those LEDs. So that should go from 13 and 16. It'll then be pointing at 12 and 17. Turn those on. Now all of these are on. Then when we slow down, what we actually do is, since we're already pointing at the outside ones, is we turn them off, and then we move in one, which is adding to the left and subtracting to the right. So if we look down in our slow down code, we first turn off the LEDs, then we move our speed meter variables. So this code should allow you to move around using the Gorilla Robot and speed up and slow down. And we also added in a little buzz, so it makes a little beep every time it changes speed. So that way you also kind of have an audible way to know that it changed. But we're going to add one more thing. We can program more than just these buttons that we've been doing. So let's go ahead and program in one more, and I'll show you guys how you can add in your own stuff. So what we're going to do is we're going to program the center key. So to do that, we're going to stick it, since it's a movement of the robot, we're going to stick it into this section right here of movement controls. So we're going to put it before this final else, but we're going to do it after all of our basic movements. So right here, I'm going to put another else if. This one's going to be if it's key C, which is that center button in the middle of like those 4 that we use up here. So you guys can program in whatever you want it to be. I'm going to program in that it's going to move at full speed forward. Sort of kind of a, you press that button, it does a really fast charge forward. But if you guys wanted to, you could program it to do like this little dance. You could have it do multiple different things all at once. It's all up to you. You can play a song, whatever you want. This is just what I chose to do. And you have all the other buttons that you can also go through and program. So if you want to add more features to your robot, you can just go through and do that. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys learned something.